Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to chat about Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas new original movie, Inventing the Christmas Prince. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts about the movie, keep listening. Inventing the Christmas Prince. It premiered on Friday, November 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Hallmark Channel, and it stars Tamera, Mowry-Housley, and Ronnie, Rowe Jr. And the synopsis is as follows. Shelby is about to quit her job as a rocket engineer when her daughter becomes convinced that her Scrooge-like boss, Evan, is the Christmas Prince, a story Shelby invented years ago. All right, first, I was a huge fan of this story. I thought it was well told, and it just represents the magic or the fantasy of Christmas. I think it was primarily targeting like a younger audience, like similar to how Disney's, or similar to, I should say, Disney's demographic, you know. The story entails Shelby, who's a working mom. She's a single mom. Her husband passed away a few years earlier. She's raising Grace, her young daughter. I think she's about 7 or 8. One of the traditions that Shelby has created with Grace, I should say, was this fantastical tale of a Christmas prince. It's Shelby's way of keeping the magic of Christmas alive, right? Because she's had a hard life. That's how she describes it, because of her dad passing away at such a young, why she was so young, right? One of the identifying markers of the Christmas Prince was a mark on his hand where Rudolph kissed him. I thought that was pretty cute. And this is where Evan plays into the myth, because he has a birthmark on his hand. And one day when Grace was at work with Shelby, Shelby's finishing up some work and put Grace into the break room. She says, okay, stay here, watch your iPad. And then we see Grace come out of the break room saying, Mommy, my iPad doesn't work anymore. And she's like, all right. And then Evan walks in and Grace's eyes light up. All right. She sees Evan and his birthmark on his hand. And of course, the story develops from there. Mind you, Evan is a bit of a Scrooge, and he's kind of disconnected from the people that work from him. Needless to say, the experience of him agreeing to play into this magical Christmas Prince, it changes him. And the way that Shelby was able to convince him, I thought that was pretty cute. I love the Christmas in the movie. We see the decorations, the Christmas trees are always in the background, it was great. And the cookies and them addressing the Christmas cards when Grace said, my tongue is getting all dry and yucky. That was so adorable. And of course, the whole plot of the movie was the invention of the Christmas Prince, right? So we have all of the Christmas feels in this movie. I like the evolution in Evan's storytelling, right? He went from legislature and Godzilla at the North Pole to the piano story and playing joy. I thought that was a nice evolution, and it was really sweet. That piano he got Grace. The Godzilla at the North Pole was hilarious to me. It just made me chuckle. He had good facial expressions too, while, when he was in shock of seeing all these kids having to tell a story. It was just, he was very good in this role. Crossing over into the romance, once Evan went to the tea with Grace, and then Shelby and Evan's brief chat on the roof at work, Grace shared what motivated her to create her own parenting support group. We just saw the romance develop from there, and I thought it was nicely done. The emotion when Shelby felt like her husband, who had passed away a few years earlier, as I mentioned earlier, she felt like he abandoned her and Grace. And that was a moving scene, and I really felt the emotion. I thought Tamera did she had a great performance as well. I like the idea of Shelby's parenting support group. These women were so supportive, and it was nice to see support amongst women. I really like that. What I thought was a conflict in the movie, it really wasn't. And I like that Shelby reconsidered and straightened that out. The real conflict in the movie was a little sad, but with Hallmark, we know it all works out, and it did. And I thought it wrapped up nicely. One moment in the movie that moved me is the time that Shelby took, the time she took in putting Grace to sleep or putting her to bed at night, right? She was asking her if she had a good day. I used to do that with my kiddo. I used to ask my kid, what was your favorite part of the day? You know, we kind of wound down the evening like that. And it was always on a positive. So I liked that scene and I thought it was really relatable. And how handsome did Evan look at that as a prince, right? He came through with the carriage and all of that. The friends also joined in and helped create this magical experience in the end. I loved it. Now, by this time in the movie, I was already tearing up after Tamera's performance talking on the phone. When he told her to turn around, I'm like, oh, their kiss was precious too in the end. And how adorable was it when she covered Grace's eyes? I liked it. In the end, even that kid, that kind of not so nice kid, Sherman, right? He even became a believer in the end. I did get a kick out of Sherman's facial expressions during the story time. That was earlier in the movie. He was so unimpressed by the story. It made me laugh a little bit. So I liked it. I enjoyed this movie so much. I like Tamera. I've said this before in another review, the review with Girlfriendship. I said I like Tamera's brand. I like how she presents in this entertainment industry. She's so likable. I also like Ronnie, Rowe Jr. in this movie as well. I thought their performances were done well. The chemistry between the two I thought was great. It was believable. I was moved, and the story was just a nice feel-good story. Oh yeah, and that little girl who played Grace was adorable. I thought she was very good in this movie as well. Another rising star. Good job to you, young lady. And let me get her name. All right. Isabel Birch. Right? She did a wonderful job playing Grace in this movie. The scene in the hall when she was upset that her mom didn't believe. Oh, was so touching. This was a good story of the magic of Christmas, and I loved it all. I recommend this movie. It's a great watch. It's worth seeing. Well done to Hallmark, cast and crew. Great job. Inventing the Christmas Prince. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? You have to let me know your thoughts in a comment below. All right, and that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. So thank you in advance. My name is Danielle. You're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.